So we're inbound here in Boston, an event all about marketing. There's quite a lot of event professionals around, including ourselves.
Yeah.
The question I want to ask you is, what does the state of event marketing look like?
Oh, it's a hot mess.
Give me an example, Dahlia.
I'm joking, but like honestly, it is a hot mess. Okay. Because I think that people are still trying to figure out the value they can bring through their messaging to different target segments when it comes to what does an event bring to different stakeholders within their audience and their database. And when I say it's a hot mess, I don't really mean it, but I think that there's still a lot of room for improvement when it comes to marketing.
So is the challenge for event marketers that they don't have the tools or the bandwidth or the budget to segment their audience and personalize outreaches?
I think, I mean, this is my first time at Inbound, and it's an event outside of our event, your typical ones that we go to, I go to, and it's so refreshing to see how they approach sort of thing, the marketing of the event. What I've noticed, having seen many campaigns on marketing, is that we tend to do the same thing over and over and lead very generic in the marketing. Here, what I loved about it, and I still look around and see how they tailor content, activations, areas by personas. Mm-hmm. So let's say at the bottom here, you had the whole admin section. Anybody who does a HubSpot who's an admin can relate and find that. You have the area for startups. So it's like they turned it alive, the personas, and then you can find your tribe, find your people. You already have something in common with them on site. And they led with that in the pre-event marketing by targeting these specific groups of people because they obviously use the platform in different ways and they are here for different reasons. So finding the why for each group of people, that's the key.
Would you say that you found Inbound or did they find you then from an attendee perspective?
I think Inbound has always been one of those events that create that sensation of, I need to check it out. And there are some event profs that we know of that, have come since day one. And that's where their inspiration comes from, where they soak it all in. Like Rachel was saying, the activations and the why and the sessions and the speakers and your tribe. There's more than 20,000 people here. And to some, first timers, it's overwhelming. But to seek out, I want to try something new or go somewhere outside of my comfort zone where it's the same old events, like Rachel was saying, you come to something like this or you go to a very different event, even if it's 100 people, the format, the people that you're sitting with, next time they market to you and they know what your why is, then they've nailed it. But when it's just let's spray, the keynote, is so-and-so, and this is why you should come, that kind of messaging has to sort of get away. Some people come to events and because their favorite people are here. And that's the driver. So the driver is not a keynote. The driver is not, sessions per se, because you can have a session at lunchtime and be okay with it and be all set with that. So, and the marketing has to change. It's not the platforms. I don't think it's a lack of platforms. I think it's just a lack of really doing a deep dive on what's in it for me from a stakeholder perspective.
The other thing that they nailed that I like a lot is the community. I think, the event itself has a whole community by itself. So you have all your frequently asked questions, the groups of people, you're a first timer, you're this and that, and there's forum just for the pre-event, and it's quite active. And I was surprised to see that. That was really fascinating to see. And as a whole, like you say, HubSpot, did it find you or you find yourself inbound? It's almost like it's always there. You almost forget that it's an actual platform. You're here, it's a user conference at the end of the day. But it feels more like a community of marketers that are coming together, and it's really interesting, fascinating to see this whole dynamic of the groups of people around common interests that are, gathering and creating this. And like you said, we're coming for people.
Yeah.
It was on my bucket list to come to Inbound for many reasons. The whole thing, I'm in marketing, I love this. I wanted to get inspired, get, refreshed ideas, all that stuff. And then we started seeing who else is going, and we have our own little mini tribe community that we started ourselves on WhatsApp. It doesn't need to be a full platform to do community. You create your own community with common interest people, and then you go there and you kind of move around there. You have to find those little buddy systems in your people, and then it's tameable because it's a big event. How do you tackle it? You find your people, and you kind of go at it together.
Okay, last question then. 2025, one tip from each of you for event marketers on how they can get more bums on seats, more engagement, more people registering for their shows.
Well, I mean, it's biased. My tip to it, it's you have to involve the people. It's people come for people, and you have to leverage that channel as a marketing more often and in different ways, because like we said, the biggest driver is to meet with people that you know or you want to meet with. So lead with that, and then the content is the second option for it, and then go from there. But consider that as a must strategy, is people as a distribution channel for your marketing messages.
Attendee advocacy.
Absolutely. Not just attendee, only attendees, everybody who's involved in the organization of the event, your speakers, even the employees. Employee advocacy also, they're part of it. I mean, you see here, there's so many HubSpot people. They're all brand ambassadors. They all carry the brand of HubSpot. They all contact people, have their own connections. So they also can drive attendance. So look at the different events that you're organizing and see who else is there, who is the forefront in your organization, is always in contact with the people that you want to have there. They can also have a way to influence them to come to the event.
Any final thoughts, Dalia?
I honestly think that content can drive event marketing. So you don't have to have the content start at the show. I wonder if there's a way where you can weave in content as lessons for different stakeholders, or first timers versus 10 timers versus even exhibit booth personnel, first timers versus 10 timers, and start that with the event marketing and hook them. The campaigns are getting noisy, and just sending out emails of promoting everything for all the stakeholders in one campaign doesn't work anymore. So I think content needs to be almost like part of the attendee or the stakeholder marketing strategy. What about you? What do you think, Adam?
I think attendees are probably the largest untapped marketing channel. I think the challenge really for event marketers comes to the bandwidth to be able to really segment those audiences into those groups and actually have some visibility on what those groups are, right? We as a group, we know each other, we have the WhatsApp community group. No other events aware of that. There's no visible way for them to understand that we're all connected. There have been things in the past which have given people visibility on what audiences are coming, and if you're inclined you can kind of sift through that and kind of get a sense for it. But for an event like Inbound, that comes at a point where when that's available, you've actually bought a ticket already, so you only get to know that after you've bought the ticket. I would have hoped that something like LinkedIn being a big platform with an events element to it could have given people much more visibility on who in their network was going to certain things or was interested. I think the way that Facebook introduced it with an interested button, you're not committed to going. I think it was an interesting play. I like what David's doing at Singulate, which is kind of really trying to personalise and have personalised communications with attendees, because that's a big thing. But yeah, I think back to Rachel's point, I think attendee advocacy is probably the area that you can make the most impact in a short amount of time.
It's a lower lift with little resources, little budgets that you would have in that one. As an attendee that I'm coming through the app or the website, trying to look through the list of attendees, now you have them all bundled in one. It would have been nice to group and say, okay, these are the startup founders.
Admin.
And then I can find myself. These are the admin people. These are the field marketing people. So that way, at least I can find my tribe also on that. That would be an interesting one to do.
I think the one piece of feedback I would give anybody delivering event apps is I want two functions. I want to be able to create lists of people so I can go through and favourite them and add
So
them
your
to a
own
list.
WhatsApp.
That's the second point, is the
Okay.
WhatsApp. So the first point is I want to be able to add 10 people to a SDR list. I want to add 10 people to an event marketing list. They're the people I'm really focused in on meeting at the show. 'Cause
Like a wish list.
the second one is I want to be able to create within that a centralised communication with my tribe.
The group chat.
And I want to be able to add other people into that as we meet each other, so that I can cross-pollinate those people with the people that I know, so everybody gets more out of it.
Well, you know what? I was just at Skift meeting in New York yesterday, and the app that they had, and I don't know the provider, you can ask Miguel, it did offer you to follow certain attendees. So it's almost like how you're favoring a session, you're also favoring the people that you want to meet. So you have my list of my followers, like following, that I'm interested in. And when you go to click on them to connect with them or something, there's a group icon. So you can start a group chat. So then you can add a few people, but I don't know who's the provider that had that. But that was the first time I saw it, so it's really interesting that you're talking about it also today. Very interesting.